Well, I never thought I would be making a video like this. Hi everyone. At time of recording, it's 8 o'clock, Saturday the 13th of August. Yesterday evening, across Britain, news broke out that Salman Rushdie has been stabbed. The information that we have at the moment, it looks like he's most likely lost his eye. Nerves in his arms have been severed and he was stabbed multiple times within the liver. So it's not looking good for Rushdie. Now, some of you might not know who I am and have stumbled across. Hi, I'm Kieran, and I've been quite prolific here in promoting the works of Salman Rushdie. I think he is the best living writer. I think he's the best living writer. I don't know what more to say. And despite the swaves of direct messages that came to me from this news asking like how I was, I kind of wanted to talk about this because this really does. I think people need to have a think about what's happened a bit more. There's been an absolute outpouring all over social media, which I wasn't actually expecting to happen. Anytime I mention Salman Rushdie, he's a controversial figure. People don't tend to like him. And although I tend to stay away from politics, like this is like highly political. I don't think people have joined the dots up here. And of the people who were messaging me asking like what I thought and have you heard about this, some of those people had called for the death of other authors. And I'm not, the hypocrisy is absolutely audacious that people online will happily, for like virtue point, call for like death threats because they don't like what someone else has said or someone else has written. But then when it comes to Salman Rushdie, who for 33 years since the fatwa was issued in 88, somehow, well, that's wrong. You shouldn't be stabbed for what you read and write. Now that it's actually happened, people are going, oh, actually, I don't think authors should be killed for free speech and for saying their opinions. And I'm really sorry. I know people won't like this, but that's what Rushdie has been. This is what Rushdie has been fighting for all this time since the publication of the Satanic Verses. And I know some people think this is like a new story. Just because it's new to you doesn't make this news. So in 1988, the Satanic Verses was published. And within the Satanic Verses, there is the character Mahound, which is a portrayal of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In Iran, the Ayatollah Khomeini issued a fatwa. A fatwa is a religious decree, and a bounty was put onto Rushdie's head, which was like more than £5 million. Equally, Iran would take you like as a refuge if you had killed him. This money was raised by media outlets over in Iran. But in recent times, Iran has distanced themselves from the Ayatollah Khomeini's fatwa. But nevertheless, Islamic fundamentalists still have a bounty on Rushdie's head, which is, again, I think that's in like the £3 million mark. This is a freedom of speech issue. The Swedish Academy, the people who give out the Nobel Prize, have denounced the fatwa and the bounty on Rushdie's head, saying that it is an attack on freedom of speech. PEN America, you know, when people like win the PEN Awards? This is what they're all for. They're for people to have the freedom of speech and to speak out about things that they do not like, where they would otherwise not be able to. So if you have lauded Nobel laureates or have praised the work of PEN Award winners, then clearly you think people should have the right to say what they want. Now, is this going to cause an uproar in Islamophobia? Most definitely. Do I believe that a Islamic fundamentalist has stabbed Rushdie? Yes, it's most likely. However, Islamic fundamentalists don't speak for all Muslims. Islam is actually a very beautiful religion, and I know many Muslims who have read and engaged in the work of the Satanic Verses don't hold up these pillars of violence and hatred towards Rushdie. Simply, extremism in any shape, form or guise that it's under is a scourge on the subject that it pertains. Is anyone going to argue against that? I don't think so. Additionally, and I think people forget about this because Rushdie is now a staunch atheist, he was raised Muslim and has said himself that he is a scholar of Islam, and being a Muslim has shaped his life. Although Rushdie doesn't believe in that religion or any religion, I think if you're going to throw the "I hate all Muslims because of this," I think you have to think about, his life. The Satanic Verses is openly a religious, and the seed which causes, I would assume, the most upset is that in regards to Muhammad, peace be upon him, that rather than the words of God entering Muhammad's mouth, it's actually the devil's. The book was and still is banned in multiple countries. They were book burning, and I've seen people today be like, "Oh well, it's been 33 years. Can't we, like, you'd think that people would have forgotten." Okay, so people clearly don't know this subject because the Japanese translator was killed, the Italian translator was killed, the Norwegian publisher, Nygaard, I believe his name, was shot 3 times. He survived, nevertheless. And in Turkey, it caused an absolute riot as arsonists tried to kill a publicist in a mosque. So I'm really sorry, like, people have died over this. People have died. So I'm really sorry to break it to you. People being stabbed over this book is not new. Rushdie was in hiding. He actually became very good at speedrunning Super Mario. But that's a little tidbit. If you want to learn more about Rushdie in hiding, I would check out Joseph Anton, which was his memoir. It's brilliant, as are most of the books that he's written, to be honest. As literature people do now, there is a big event. There's going to be people who are reading more Salman Rushdie. And I think you should read the Satanic Verses. I think if you're that disturbed and that upset by this, you should read the Satanic Verses. This is what it's all about. Don't pick up anything else. Read the Satanic Verses. But this is the reason, and I hope people start taking notice now. This is why I don't think people should be censored. This is why I don't think we should be pointing fingers saying, "Oh, I don't think you should write about that." Because if you're upset over Rushdie and you're doing that, you haven't connected the dots. And I'm really sorry. I know this is like, so I know people think like, "Oh, this is like such like an absurd thing to think," but I'm really sorry. I don't think people should die over what they say or what they write. I don't think we should be centering artists. Equally, there's the quote by Rushdie that has been going around saying, I'll have to paraphrase, but I'll put it up on screen, but it's that art is inherently offensive, and if you try to remove that offence away, art ceases to exist. That's the point of art. That's what he's done. That's why he's been. I don't think people have connected the dots. Now, one thing I need to stress, because I know some people on the internet can't watch a full video without jumping to conclusion. If you don't like what someone's created or said, you're more than welcome to, not engage with their works. You're more than happy to say that you don't like their work. You're more than happy to, ask for boycottings of their work. I think I'm okay with that. Like, you're more than entitled to do that. I just don't think people should be killed over it. I know this falls into like the whole culture wars, and honestly, I think we've overcomplicated it. It's not one rule for some, one rule for others. Just let people write what they want. If it's bad, people will say it's bad. If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. I really don't get these arguments. Like, I've listened to both sides, and I think people are overcomplicating it. I'm really sorry. Like, just write what you want, and if people don't like it, then hey, it's art. People aren't going to like it. Like that's fine. You're allowed to not like controversial figures. You're allowed to like controversial figures. I don't see how less complicated I could possibly make it. Look, if you want authors to die over like what they've said because you're utterly offended, I don't want anything to do with you. I'm really sorry. I think that's absolutely absurd. I think that's as totalitarian as you could possibly get. It's taken the stabbing of Salman Rushdie. It's taken the stabbing of Salman Rushdie. And maybe that's the event that will connect the two dots. That maybe you shouldn't be like provoking this online. Because you're just as bad. you're just as bad. I honestly,